Mama, it's been a while, but I think I finally see this life ain't about the thrills or the ways of society. I'm growing tired of all the things everybody says I should be. I just wanna be left alone to do whatever I please. I still can't really say what it is I'm looking for, but I'm gladly left behind the way I was before. There are days I wish I wasn't failing miserably, but I think I'm coming around to a life that I believe. Hey mama, remember when I wouldn't even say hello? Too afraid to face the facts of a life I didn't know. I like to think that over the years I've learned a thing or two. No longer just a scared little boy afraid of facing the truth. Woo! Woo! I still can't really say what it is I'm looking for, but I'm gladly left behind the way I was before.
I'm not changing nothing about that video. I'm sorry, Brad. I have to argue with Frankie. You're stealing my cup.
Great American
You're
morning,
stealing
everybody.
my cup.
What's up, gentlemen? What's up?
How are
Brand
we
new
doing
Great
today?
American morning cup here.
Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
okay.
How you been, Brad? How you doing, brother?
Thanks for
Doing well, man. We're cranking, popping, kicking, and stopping all kinds of craziness and COVIDness and everything else like that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how the COVID thing has affected you guys out there. Keep this in mind. I'm going to sound very neutral on this, but I have a really strong opinion. But most of my strong opinions get me in trouble and end up getting me emails that I don't want to read. So I'm just going to go ahead and play the medium game here. So I genuinely mean this. I'm okay, mask or not okay. I'm okay, mask or not mask. I really am. I'm not. If you feel comfortable wearing a mask, that's cool. If you don't, no big deal. And we don't require that to come into our store. But if you want us to put on a mask, I'll put on a mask for you and everything like that. I just don't like it hiding the beautiful beard. Anyway, I can't. I mean, dude, you got that beard. You got that thickness, bro. I'm digging that, bro. I'm digging that. When you get older, man, you get that gray in there and it makes you look sexy. But yeah, so the COVID thing has been kind of crazy for us. It's been a little harder on the retail, and our online sales grew exponentially. So we grew by 400% in the last 6 months. So
nice.
It's been nuts. It's been nuts, and it's been great. And kudos to everybody out there that has supported Zeal Cigars and bought from Zeal's. I really do appreciate that. It's been great for our family. We've been able to hire new people. I just hired an assistant for me Wednesday. I just hired an assistant for me, which is
nice.
He'll be helping me do a bunch of things that I do here at Zeal that I probably shouldn't do because I'm doing a little too much. Help me get home by 5, if that makes sense. So help me get home by 5 on most days. But we're open till 7 o'clock typically on most days, and we got guys lounging and everything like that. And I try to get out of here early and stuff like that. That's just because I like riding my motorcycle home for 2 minutes. So
that real long ride all the way back to the house, yeah.
It's literally, I live 2 minutes away, but I try to go 100 miles an hour on the way home. So it's literally like a minute and a half. So if I could beat it, so it kind of works out that way. So, but how are you guys doing? How's California? I mean, is in the absolute craziness of the COVID? How do you guys fared up?
Well, the people that are running California, as you know, are completely sane and make sound decisions when it comes to everybody's health and safety.
Just so you know, the absolute liberals don't believe that. So just so you know that. Yeah.
No,
we got guys on the far left like we're even crazier. Yeah, we know it.
We were starting to open up again. I got excited. We actually got to go back to work for 2 weeks a couple months ago, and then somebody sneezed, and we shut back down. So, it's been super restricted. Even here in Kern County, where we lean more to the conservative side of things.
Sure.
We were in the most restrictive whatever you call it, category there was, and we're barely starting to come out of it. So I think the movie theater is going to open up soon.
Actually, today, certain places get to open up to 25% capacity with the maximum of 100 people.
Oh wow! Okay,
so it's something. I'll give it that. I can't wait to go overpay for popcorn again. Cannot wait for that. But it's just we're going so slow, and luckily the cigar lounges in our area pretty much stayed open almost the entire time. There's about a 3-week period where we were doing runs for them. We were just going to deliver cigars, some of the older guys.
Yep.
We don't want them to get sick, So doing our best to keep everyone healthy.
Right. Absolutely.
Again, same with the masks. Like I've got 4 hairs on my face. I don't care if I'm wearing a mask.
Real quick, just good morning to Anthony, Timothy, Andy, Rick, Peter, who celebrated his birthday yesterday. We've got Rick, we've got Richard, and we've got John watching. John, who because of his actions led to the Dodgers losing last night. We will not speak to him at the moment.
It's all John's fault. Everyone needs to know that. If you're a Dodger fan, we have to blame John together.
Yeah, not Kershaw's fault. It's John's fault. So we'll put that out.
John. Sorry, John. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm a football guy. I watch a little bit of basketball. I didn't watch the finals because it was all politicized and everything like that. I mean, I'm a big NFL fan. I'm looking forward to the Big Ten's coming back on. I'm an Ohio State guy. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. So I'm looking forward to seeing, Michigan and Ohio State duke it out. I mean, at this rate, with how everything keeps moving back, like the NFL games are all kind of scheduled out and everything like that. And if somebody sneezes or somebody's sick or whatever like that, you have to redo the schedule. We might be seeing the Super Bowl in March, in March at that point. So if at all, I mean, you think about it, if one team gets sick and then the whole team gets sick and then they played somebody and they get sick, man, it's kind of a crazy thing. So, and I get it.
The last team to get sick should win the Super Bowl. That's how they decided.
Right. That's how we should do it. I like that. Last team to get sick, you're the healthiest team. You are the strongest link. You win. That type thing. So, but yeah. So I mean, so tell me what is Cali like as far as does it feel like people are, we deal in the cigar industry and everything like that. So people that you see coming in your shops, are they more scared? Are they more like, meh? Are they like, yeah, oh, really? Okay.
Nah,
yeah, they know once they hit that door, that threshold, they can take that mask off. I mean, a lot of people here do not like to wear them, myself included. You always have a few people here that get upset if you don't wear it, and it is a mandate by our governor, if you want to call him our governor. But he
is a candy ass mother, and he is such a stupid. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
You are not wrong though. And
then, dude, Kevin, we're gonna be hanging out on Sunday night, brother.
Yeah. Full disclosure, Kevin, this is not Frankie's fault. I told him the wrong dates. I got mine mixed up. Brad, I actually had you on my calendar for next Friday, and when you texted me this morning, I was like, shit, what's going on? So I wake him up. I'm like, oh, help me out here. Oh,
yeah, I was going to be up today anyways because I thought Kevin was on today and you were on next Friday. That's how I had it down on my phone.
Pull Kevin in. Kevin, come in here and talk with him. I might as well have Kevin on too.
What do you call it? Yeah, Kevin, if you want, I'll send you a link real quick. Yeah, here.
Send Kevin a link. Get Kevin on here, dude. Kevin's way cooler than I am anyway. So I'm just sitting here trying to take up sunlight, and Kevin's the one that's really the star, dude. So I'm just sitting here doing my thing.
Speaking of sunlight and stuff like that, what's the weather like over there where you're at? Over here we're starting to finally get some cooler weather.
So like I was telling you, I work out in the morning, so I usually ride my bike to go work out, but it's cold. So it's cold. So but you gotta understand, cold for me is 70 degrees on a bike. It feels like 50, and it's blowing in your face. So it's just cold. So I just work out at my buddy's house right up the street. But I'm on the street for 4 or 5 minutes and it's cold. And I'm going 50, 60 miles an hour and it's cold. And so I don't put on a jacket. So I just got in my Denali and I'm like, I'm gonna drive today. I'm not gonna do it gets too cold. So and in the back we have a swamp cooler that runs. You guys have swamp coolers out in Cali, don't you?
They don't do anything in our area because as soon as you get to certain degrees, it's just no good.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That's just Bakersfield though.
It's so dry here. It's so dry. So as a result of that, basically it's freezing now in our warehouse as to where it was 100, 2 weeks ago, it was 110. back there. So, and now it's like 70 degrees. I could store cigars back there if I wanted. What's up, Kevin? My dog.
What is going on?
Hey.
Did
I take your spot? Did I mess something up?
You did. They rescheduled me for yesterday. They're like, "Oh, hey, Brad's going to be on tomorrow. Can we reschedule?" I'm like, "Of course we can."
No. That's wrong. There was a pretty girl coming on tomorrow. That's why I rescheduled.
Oh, okay.
Well, Melanie's been making her runs to help out with the Fuente fundraiser for breast cancer. So I was going to give her a Fuente Friday kind of to push it, but she's leaving town. So I was like, okay, well, I have a free Friday this morning. And I was like, oh, Brad's not till next week. And so I'm going to have a leisure morning. No worries. I could be a half asleep. And then he texts me, hey, I'll be on in just a second. It's like, shit, I didn't switch the dates. I messed everything up. This is 100% Miguel's fault. And I'm glad it happened this way, 100%. So
I don't wake up to the crack of noon anyway. So I'm literally dead asleep right now, trying to think to myself, like, what can I do to wait? I have no coffee. I worked out this morning. I was telling Kevin, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I work out with a couple buddies, and I get up at 4:30. I go work out with them, and I come home and fall back asleep for like an hour. I'm just so exhausted because I'm old. I get home and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I fall asleep, and then I get back up, have some coffee, and I'm like, so I wake up twice. I wake up one, and I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? And then I come back, and I'm like, my body's like, yeah, go back to sleep. And I'm like, I fall asleep and wake back up.
I've been home for like 6 weeks now. So Jessica will come home like at 4:00. I'm napping. I'm asleep. And then I'll wake up after she worked 8-10 hours. And then I'll be like, hey, what's for dinner? And she'll just be like,
it's a great way to get hit right there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, dude. That's awesome. I'm loving it. When I heard that, I didn't know it. I don't know the scheduling or anything like that. I barely recognize my own scheduling. I keep forgetting like I'm on these. Like last night when I was on, did you see the Joe Thorne thing? My buddy Joe?
Yeah.
Oh, yesterday. Yeah, I chimed on and you guys were logging off.
Yeah, we were getting ready to get off. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
But I was sitting there with Joe, and I get done, and he's like, dude, how many things are you on? I said, I think that I'm on tomorrow with somebody, and then Kevin, Cigar Prop, I'm on with him on Sunday, and then there's another syndicated thing that I have to do on Monday. He's like, what are you saying that you're a fanboy for? I'm like, so Joe wrote a book a long time ago that I loved and really, really impacted my life called Note to Self. It was a great book. And he writes tons of books like that. He's an accomplished writer and everything like that. He's a really, really good speaker. And I was like, he's like, what are you saying you're fanboy? Like, so the first time I met Joe Thorne, like I knew about him. I heard him speak at conferences, and he's one of the foremost authorities in how to be a normal dude and be a Christian, right? How to be a normal dude is not freaking out everybody. So he's such a great guy. I remember hearing from him, and when I was at TNT, he DM'd me, he friended me, and then DM'd me on my Instagram, and I was like, oh, Joe Thorne, is that the same guy? And so I texted him back, I'm like, are you the same guy who wrote the book Note to Self? And he's like, yeah, dude, and I went nuts. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a guy. And so like, I've talked to him on the phone a few times, but when I finally got him, like I did a whole like face-to-face thing with him before we ever got on live, kind of like we do, you're pre-prepping in the show. And I was like, dude, I'm just telling you, dude, I'm kind of fanboy. Like your stuff's amazing, and I've heard you speak. I follow your stuff, that kind of thing. And he's like, oh, that's cool, man. Super down-to-earth guy, chill. And I'm like, okay, what do you smoke? I'm asking him, like, what do you smoke? I sent him things, and I overdid it. I was like, and he's like, bro, this is a little too much. And I'm like, no, dude, you kind of like a rock star to me. So like, you and Dwayne Johnson, if we hung out, it could be that kind of thing. So, I always want to meet Dwayne Johnson because he sounds like he's such a nice guy and everything like that. And he probably could outlive me, So it was really, really cool to talk with him last night on the podcast. And I'm looking forward to Kevin, obviously, on Sunday, night as well. Kevin is like, so I got to get, I'm not going to get super like spiritual and everybody like that, but I got to tell you, man, there's times like Kevin's like he's my pretend church dude. Every time I'm at church and I'm like, and keep this in mind, my pastor's seriously a rock star, dude. He's like a really good speaker. He's one of the best ones that writes books and everything like that. People love. He wrote a book called "The Problem with Christianity," or like 10 Objections. I can't remember what it was, but it was like nationally syndicated. It was really good. And it was about Christians being super judgmental and everything. Very, very good. Very, very good book. But every time I'm there, I'm like, I look to my right and I'm like, I want Kevin to be right there because like what he said, we talk about all the time. I'm like, damn, did you believe that? And so like Wednesday night, I was at church and I was like, Mark said something and he said, what did he say? This is huge, guys. So I'm not going to try to get all crazy on it, but listen to this. He said that people tend to treat their kids as a boss with rules or as a father with a relationship. And he goes, what does rules without relationship equal? Well, it's rebellion, obviously. And he's like, some dads, when their kids don't do well, will just amp up the volume, thinking that's going to make a kid obey. But what does that do? I mean, my dad was that way. He amped the volume. Well, what did it do for me? I was just like, I want to steal your car and wreck it, So,
yeah.
Which I eventually did, But yeah. I mean, so I mean, it was interesting. He said versus building a relationship with your kid. And that doesn't mean that your kid doesn't have rules, but building a relationship with your kid, and so your kid obeys you because he loves you and he trusts you in that relationship. And Kevin's a great dad, great guy, and I was like, I looked next to me, and like, so I have a round table with a bunch of guys, and the guys were like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I wish Kevin was right here. And they're like, who's Kevin? I'm like, it's my pretend friend. And then I literally text, so you're like Harvey the Rabbit. So I'm like literally texting you and taking a picture. I'm like, dude, this is so great. That type thing. So I just missed it. It was a really good thing about how dads can be better fathers, and it was great. It was really good thing. So because we're all dads, we're all
and being a father nowadays is I think harder work than it ever has been. You've got technology. You've got so much that you want to protect your kids from,
right? Right.
Or what they can see and what they can experience is. I mean, everybody here knows when you were kids, our parents, my mom would kick us out of the house on a Saturday morning and be like, "Get out," because she's cleaning for the day. Like, I don't care where you go, I don't care what you do, get out. And you can't do that nowadays because now it's it's not I don't think it's a more dangerous world per se, but I think their kids now have access to more dangerous stuff.
So I was talking to Joe about this, and this is important. It was interesting. So Miguel and you guys are actually younger than we are, right? How old are you guys?
I'm 28.
28 and
36.
28 and 36. So, Kevin, I'm 46. You're
43.
43. So I remember growing up in the 80s. We're talking about how growing up in the 80s was like nostalgic and how everybody wants to get back to the 80s now. And I remember growing up in the 80s. I rode my bike like almost 12 miles, like down the street to like Kroger, which is our Fry's.
Yeah.
Down here. We went to Kroger just to get a candy bar. And then drive, and we rode all the way back, and we had like, teenagers picking on us and things like that. I mean, just stuff. One of my favorite stories. My son always asks me to tell the story, so I'll tell it to you. You're going to see where I get off of my whole thing of justice on this. So when I was probably 10 to 12, somewhere in there, and I would walk to my elementary school. It's called Winton Forest in Forest Park, Ohio. All right, so it's the suburbs of Cincinnati. And I would walk there, and I liked catching bees for some reason. I was a weird kid, right? So I like to catch bees and put them in a Folger can, right? Because I like the way it sounds. I like the way it sounded, right? So I wouldn't torture them and shake it or anything like that. I wouldn't actually confess that live. But anyway, I would sit there and catch bees, right? Well, at one point, these teenagers, so it was like 4 of them, right? They all came around the corner, and they are all looking at me. And they were like, "What are you doing? What you got in that can?" I'm like, "None of your business." And these are like 4 teenagers, and they're like, "What'd you say?" I'm like, "I said none of your business, dude." And they're like, "Give me the can." And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Give me the can now, or we're gonna beat your ass." And I'm like, "No." And they kicked my ass. They did absolutely beat the crap out of me, but they didn't get my can. I have my can. And they're like, "Just leave him alone, dude." And I'll never forget that. Like, my son's like, "That really happened?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude." He's like, "Why didn't you just give him the can?" Like, because it was my can. I worked really hard to get those bees in that can. It was my can, and I built something. So whenever you build something and you do something, in life, I tell them it's yours. It's your responsibility to protect it, as well. And so it was really interesting. But I mean, it in the 80s, it was easy. You weren't afraid that a teenager was going to shank you with a knife or shoot you with the gun.
Yeah.
It was just like, you're going to get your butt kicked. That was it.
That was it. And then your parents weren't going to sue that kid.
Right.
Seminar why fighting is bad and we need to hug it out.
Exactly.
Miguel went to school a little bit later than most of us did for high school. What were safe spaces like?
No, we actually we weren't allowed to fight at school, so we had a breakdance fight it out. I got pretty good at that, popped and locked my way into a lot of situations. No, I'm just kidding. I went from a private school in Ventura of like 30 kids per class to a very sketchy high school of about 1,000 kids per class. And on the first day, a girl gave birth, and there was 2 fights, and some kid tried to sell me drugs. That was my first day of high school. Going from little Catholic school, everyone knows each other, to now you're over here. So I was like, this something is a little different here.
That's crazy, dude.
That is
some girl gave birth at school.
Yeah, she at the gym. It was a different experience.
As one does.
Yeah. I got a few fights in high school. Nothing crazy. I mean, but there was nothing like it is today. I mean, even this switch be like maybe 5 to 10 years difference now. It's just so weird to see what's going on.
Right.
Like they have to, they have to have like feeling seminars and stuff, and they have to have, it doesn't make any sense to me.
That might be a California thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it really.
But that's everything. I've got friends. My son is in the Army. I've got friends in the military, and they have these seminars. Like on feelings or how to deal with gays in the military, transgenders in the military, how to control your anger, and it's like how to control. You can control your anger. You're in the Army. You're a Marine, son. He goes. It's all the time we're having to go through these different classes, and I'm like, why? And the drill sergeants can't hit you anymore because apparently that's bad, and they can't even yell at you too much if they make you feel bad.
That's because of him, because he cried about it.
You can go tattle on your drill sergeant.
What? Yeah. Okay, I have a question then. Next time you talk to your son, will you ask him, are stress cards a real thing? I heard about stress cards a couple years ago. I don't know if the guy was joking or not, but he said when he went through boot camp, he got a stress card. And if he got stressed, he could whip that thing out and they couldn't yell at him for a little while.
Oh, my God. I'm going to have to.
There was nothing like that when I was in. I'll tell you that.
America is falling apart. This is why we will be splitting into colonies. And we will have colonies with balls and colonies that don't have balls. It's going to happen. I fully think that in the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to split into colonies. I mean, I think we're split back into colonies, and people are going to be like, there'll be like sections of states. Like you've seen the 3 California breakdown, right?
Oh, I've seen
that one makes sense. Yeah.
I think so too. You
do not want to break up California because it's just, as long as it's all one country still, there's not a bunch of them. It's just going to be 5 states voting blue and then just our little section here red. So all of a sudden there's going to be a lot more blue people getting their voices out there. Yeah. And they don't need it. California should not tell anybody what to do. It's just, we're crazy here. We should not have a say in anything. It should be like a child. You have to tell what to do all the time.
The funny thing is we now in Arizona, we have more California residents that have moved here in the last 5 years than I think any other state. Arizona and Texas have the 2 that are there. So we have shirts now in almost every shop that says "Don't Cali my AZ." Yeah, all over the place. And to be honest with you, a lot of the guys that come here are more conservative. Are guys that they want to escape the taxes. They have a $3 million 2-bedroom ranch in California that they sell and buy like a 5,000 square foot ingrown pool, mansion out here in Phoenix or in Scottsdale, right here. And it just blows me away. I need stress cards when Frankie yells at me.
Yeah. I've seen it happen before. I'm just sitting there in the corner, and Frankie and James are yelling at each other. I feel like a child whose parents are fighting, it's very sad.
Yeah. Daddy just hit mommy at the table. You know, you don't know what to do.
Yeah. Well, I think people, in all honesty, are kind of tired of the whole political correctness. They're tired of all the. I mean, that's from what I understand. Even, I mean, this is true. Even my my liberal friends, and I'll say left leading friends, they're just like, this is stupid, man. All the stuff that you're saying. I mean, we can't have when Joe Rogan becomes the voice of rationality, you recognize there's something wrong with the country. Okay, I mean, with Joe Rogan saying, "Yeah, I'm telling you right now, dude, the ones who are the aggressive ones are on the far left. They're the ones going crazy and nuts, you know." And I'm like, I know. I mean, you can't debate it, and that's not to say that, you know, being liberal, being a Democrat is a bad thing, but the issue is when you can't dialogue and walk away friends that disagree on something. Like somebody on my podcast the other day, they were, and I know this, and I get this because I'm a Christian guy, but the guy's like, we never talk about religion and politics. I'm like, well, why not? Why not? You could talk about that stuff when you have mutual respect for people, and you walk away friends saying, I still love you, dude. You're my buddy. I don't care. You know, that type of thing. And the hardest part for people is it's what was said a long time ago, the new tolerance, where someone says, if you don't fully accept, fully affirm, fully agree with everything that I say, then you're not tolerant of me. And that's unfortunate, because in that case, I can't be tolerant of anybody, because I don't agree with anybody all that much. You know, I mean, there's the reality is, I mean, my own dad and I fight over stupid crap, you know, so I'm tolerant of it, you know, that kind of stuff. But I still love my dad. I still love even my buddies that come in here and disagree with me on a cigar. Okay, get back into cigars. Cigars are like one of the things that everyone disagrees about in our industry. Like, so I'll smoke one, Kevin will smoke one, we'll disagree on the whole thing. I'm like, this is the best cigar I ever had. It's the worst cigar I ever had. You know, that type of stuff. I'm smoking the Kintsugi by Alec Bradley. I love this cigar. I think it's one of the best ones.
That's a great cigar.
Right. But I had a buddy who's like, this is a piece of crap. And I was like, you're a piece of crap. You know, but he gets that. He's not like offended. He's not pulling out a stress card and be like, I'm at level 3. You know, I'm like, oh no. I'm like, bro, this is a great stick. He's like, it's not a great stick. It's not strong enough. It tastes like crap. And I'm like, okay, that's your opinion. You're allowed to have your opinion. And I still love you and still be friends, right? I don't have to go find a safe space, suck my thumb, and hope to God Jesus comes back before I die. So but that's where people are. That's where people are. They're just freaking out over stuff. And I'm like, God, it's okay to disagree. It's okay to have dialogue. It's okay to do this. It's not okay to. Huh?
I thought we were supposed to.
That is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. In a cigar lounge, when you're relaxed, you know, you're with your friends.
Right.
Why would you not be able to talk about, you know, religion or politics? That's the most relaxed situation you could be in a calm area. Like, if you can't talk about it there, where can you talk about it? Like, you're going to be stressed out somewhere yelling at someone over? Is that what you want to do?
Right.
Or with people that you expect to have, you know, a reasonable level of respect to each other and at least hear them out. You don't have to end up agreeing with anything anyone else says, but if you hear somebody out, you get a little bit more of a knowledge to the other side of the argument.
Yeah,
you should always want to get a little more.
That's the only place I can talk politics or religion. You know, my work. Like I said, I've got my boss who is a straight socialist. I mean, everybody should have the same income, make the same money. Everybody should be given a house from the government. And then I've got the other side who, you know, one of the technicians I work with, you know, who's a Republican, but he's an idiot. You know, just believe, you know, the microchips are going into the vaccine. The vaccines are made from the vaccine is made from dead babies. And it's just, you know, and he sends me this stuff on Facebook all the time with these articles, and I'm like, you can't be this dumb. You can't be this dumb, you know. So
can I start going down the rabbit hole? I gotta ask them. I gotta go down the rabbit hole. I gotta stir up controversy because I haven't done anything in the last 5 minutes yet. I haven't done anything in the last 5 minutes, so I gotta get that in there. So did you see the town hall meeting with Trump last night?
No, I was at an event last night, Espinoza event. I forgot.
They asked, you guys know about this whole QAnon thing? Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
They asked him point blank about that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that's like one of the, it's a conspiracy theory, or it's a real thing, or it's a mixture of both, right?
Yeah.
So they ask him that, and it's the first time that conspiracy theories has ever been asked to a president. A sitting president it's more of a conspiracy theory, but because he doesn't necessarily, Trump is the overinflated frat boy who's won every football game. Okay,
Yeah.
that's who he is, and it just is, right. And so he's gonna win. He's gonna win big. He's gonna do everything right. You look great. Some girl on the town hall literally was flirting with him, and she goes like in her answer, or in a question, she goes, "Hi, President Trump."
Oh my God.
She goes like this. She goes, "I love your smile." And he flashed it like a dude walking to prom with a queen on his. He's like,
"Oh my God,
how you doing?" "That's right, sweetie." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, baller, dude! Oh my gosh, this is so funny." It was so great.
I'll have to go back and watch it, and I'll have to see what the ratings were because Biden's town hall was last night as well.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. I thought I was watching the real one, but I was watching the old one, I guess, on YouTube. So in that town hall, he was asked about the QAnon thing. He was asked about this conspiracy theory about that there's a deep state with a Democrat Party. Just so you know, my buddies and I who smoke on Friday nights, that's all we talk about, dude. We love talking about Bigfoot, aliens, and deep state conspiracies. I just love that crap. I do. I'm like, this is the greatest conversation ever.
Is, but the Q there. I mean, they think that the Democrats are eating kids. They're eating children.
Yeah.
Who is believing that?
Well, Gavin Newsom did say that was like on the agenda. Like, okay, first we're gonna get the solar in. We're gonna get rid of gas cars. Eat kids is next, and then we're gonna go ahead and rebuild the. So he was listing it all off, and I was like, "Whoa, that's kind of weird. We shouldn't do that." But it's on the ballot now, so no, I'm just kidding. None of that.
That's a far stretch there. So it's interesting to hear people's take on it and everything like that, because the idea about conspiracy theories is there's always some truth to it somewhere. So that's why it's conspiracy, because you're like, oh, okay, someone's conspiring to hide this from somebody, and there has to be something worth hiding. So what is the truth in the conspiracy? And my goal is purely entertainment. I am listening, and I am just like, so if somebody wears red shoes and they like Lady Gaga and orders pizza, they're eating babies.
Babies.
Okay.
Babies.
All right. So it's really interesting, in the morning about that. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And there's people, tell you what, dude, there's people in my life, there's people in my family that swear by all this stuff. They come to me and like, just so you know, dude, this is the truth. This is what's happening. And so if it turns out to be that, God help us. That's crazy. That is nuts. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard of. Like, I mean, it's not like JFK cover-up stuff. It's like next level cover-up stuff,
I've gone on record saying this, that if you don't tell me what it is, I'll try it once, but that's not one of those things. That's not going to be on that list. Never mind.
Right.
I got to retract my own statement now.
Is this baby? Is this baby? Yeah.
No, never.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like, oh, this is a rare kind of like salmon or something. That sounds awesome. No, not baby. That was not on the list.
A rare salmon. You were asking me, and I'll kind of give you some insight. So we're trying to release a cigar. It's called Rhapsody, and I think I've shown Kevin the logo. I showed you guys the logo. I emailed you the logo, so you can see it. I don't know if it's ever going to come out. I'm trying to figure out all timing on that. I was trying to get it out by Halloween, and it'll be the first Zeal release that has a band on it and everything else like that. It's going to be banded and boxed and everything else like that. And as you know, in the cigar industry, which is one of the most infuriating things to me in any industry, is that everyone is slowed down and everybody blames COVID for everything. They're like, well, it's all because of COVID. I swear to you, dude, and you manufacturers know who the freak I'm talking about. Okay, you guys are just some of you guys are just asinine idiots and blame COVID for everything, and you're just not doing your homework. So not all of you, but I've already cussed you out before. Anyways, there's a sense of where like everyone blames it for everything. Well, I'm sorry, it's not going to come in. So I'm sorry, it's not going to come in. And then I guess it really is in some sense like really affecting how things can get done and how quickly things can get done, particularly in the cigar world, because there's factories that have shut down, down in third world countries, or factories that have shut down. So, and it's just frustrating because I don't know, and I know that I'm ignorant of this, and I'll say this to be confessional as well. I know that I'm ignorant because I've never caught this thing or anything else like that, and I think that it's overblown. So hey, bro, stop yelling at me, Brad.
Always yelling at people. Wow, Brad.
That's me. That's me.
Well, if everybody is yelling at him, it might be his fault. I'm just saying. If everybody's yelling at you,
Dave's a good guy.
Maybe you should look. I know. Maybe you should look inward.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Wow.
These are bigger guys. None of these guys are boutique guys. They're the real big guys that are not getting in there like it's all COVID's fault. Man, yeah. I ordered cigars once from somebody, and this is like post like the craziness and everything's opened up, and they were like, it's going to take 3 to 4 weeks to get your cigars. And I'm like, 3 to 4 weeks? No one's going to be interested in the cigar. Come on, dude. I mean, we know with social media things pop off real quick, and this is coming out and so on and so forth. So we got to keep pushing things back. So I am really excited about the Kintsugi by Alec Bradley coming out. I think it's a very, very good stick. Did you see they released the Monero? What to say, Kevin Shane? I thought we were boys. Now
yeah,
James needs a stress card. He needs a stress card.
He needs a stress card.
A stress card, man.
We're gonna build this Nistro Safe Space Lounge. It's gonna be right there. I will go smoke with you, brother.
So that Kintsugi's not out yet.
No, they haven't shipped it.
Just in
November.
Okay.
Did you see that Alec Bradley's releasing the Project 40 Maduro?
Yeah,
dude.
I picked up last night at the lounge their new that like little diamond shape the black market, the new one.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I thought you said you picked up a Project 40 Maduro at a lounge. I was gonna go freaking nuts and
throw things at you through the internet.
I was gonna call Alec Bradley. I was gonna call Alec. Yeah, I was gonna call him and be like, "Where in the world is my?" Yeah, that was the case. So.
Yeah, he does send me some stuff, some cool stuff every now and then.
Yeah.
So I do have about a dozen of those Kintsugis, and they are delicious.
I did too. I was very, 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 very excited for that. And Alec Rubin, thank you so much for doing that. Bradley Rubin, thank you so much for doing that as well. And by the way, guys, if you want to send some, pre-release Project 40s, we're always in the mood for that kind of stuff. I could do that anytime.
Or the Culebra, the Orchant.
The what?
The Alec Bradley Orchant. And
what's that?
They have Mitchell Orchant owns the company called Cigars in England.
Okay.
He gets a lot of these. He's known for he is the best of the Cuban cigars in the world. He has these fantastic auctions each year. So he'll get these manufacturers and he'll do one-off cigars, but they're only available to him in England, and he doesn't ship out to the States.
Oh.
So you can get them, but it's very hard. Like I got a box of his Drew Estate Orchants, which are fantastic, but they had to go from England to Scotland. They had to go from a cigar shop in Scotland to a bookstore or a cigar shop in England to a bookstore in Scotland, and then over to me here, labeled books.
Really?
Some weird books.
Yeah. He does one for Alec Bradley too. And
okay.
Yeah.
I was just looking at their website. I didn't see it, so obviously it's not going to be on their website. But yeah, dude, the one-off things those are the rare things that every cigar geek tries to find. And I'm a cigar geek. I'm not a cigar nerd. Big difference, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. Nerds are offended by everything that somebody doesn't agree with them about. Okay. Yeah. Cigar geeks have an appreciation for all things cigars. That's my differentiation. So when I call you a cigar nerd, I'm insulting you. Okay.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Wow. I like it though. There's a little differentiation there. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. If you're a cigar nerd, you're somebody who gets offended when somebody doesn't like your boutique brand. So I mean that's essentially what I do is I go around and offend everybody I possibly can. And the guys that don't take themselves too serious laugh about it. The guys that take themselves way too serious, I love it. I just absolutely love getting those emails. You're such a douchebag. You're such an overt, toxic, masculine man. I can't believe you. You probably sit around eating meat all day and shooting guns and violating everyone's. And I'm like, that's probably me.
Yeah. Are you stalking me? Yeah.
Right. I wonder sometimes. I look out my window. I'm just that car's been there for a minute. So, all right, what? Well, I didn't mean to jeopardize your show. Keep asking questions. I'm sorry. I'm just talking.
No, this is what the morning show is all about. We don't talk about anything in particular. It's just to yell at people, and if they want to listen, they can.
Pretty much just yell and shake your fist, and we'll see.
I'm the 28-year-old here sitting with these old guys right here, like going, I remember back in the day what it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, my God. I always thought to myself I was the young guy in the room. Now that I'm 46, I'm recognizing that I'm halfway through life, and then I'm like, well, now I am the old guy. I am the old guy. I got a gray beard and everything else like that. I'm thinking about dying there, Steve.
Yeah.
I'm not dying.
No.
There was a great meme last week, and it was something like, you're old when you hear like a song at the grocery store, and you're like, this is my jam. That's how you know. I'm like, oh, hell yeah.
You're like, I get knocked down, but I get up again. I'm never going again.
Am I old? What?
Yeah.
No. I did see this. I told the little ones, my younger siblings, like Netflix used to send discs, to you. You wouldn't order online. You like pick out which ones you want. You send them, they send them back. And it's like, so they mail you the internet, huh? That's crazy. I was like,
they mail you the internet.
Yeah, there was less internet then. You could mail the internet back then because there wasn't a lot of it.
Right. But they actually, do they still do that? Do they still have like a DVD service that they do? I don't know.
Doubt it.
I doubt it. Yeah.
It's like I remember when Blockbuster was around and Netflix started doing that, and I was like, this is game changing. I don't have to go to Blockbuster. This is game changing. And we did the whole queue thing. And remember the whole queue thing?
Oh yeah.
The super long list.
Yeah, dude. I had a big old long list. I would just we're getting into Halloween. Can we start talking about like ghost stuff? Because I'm me. I'm supernatural.
Brad, we do a show called Girls, Gore, and Gin where all they talk about is horror and true crime and conspiracy theory.
Yeah, but like your girls are like half dressed with boobs hanging out. I'm looking at it.
You have to wear the same outfit. Yes.
Like, Dad, what are you looking at? I'm like, this is my buddy. Like, which one's your buddy? The one with the boobs? I'm like, ooh, no. It's because I get it. I'm just playing with you.
I want you on that show, but you have to wear the similar outfit. You have to do like a mesh top.
I'll bring you down the cleavage and just sit there and hey guys. Somebody snapped that picture right there. Some troll did. Somebody snapped it right there and they're gonna send it to me later on. They're like, I told you, you're what you are is a gay man in a straight man's body. So anyways, so we're near Halloween. So I got to tell you this though. So every Halloween, and I think this is crazy, and this is just great. So, have I told you that I genuinely think a demon follows me? Have I told you that story?
No,
I haven't told you guys this. Oh, dude, we're gonna get it. Here we go. All right, so I hope to offend and or bring out curiosity in everyone who hears this story. Okay, so now keep in mind, I come at this from a biblical perspective, a Christian perspective. So my perspective is might be somewhat new for some people, but I'm not meaning to offend you by saying that. I'm just saying that the fact of the matter is this is why I think this. So before I became a Christian, I was very deep into Ouija boards, very deep into cultic, demonic things. I would have seances with my friends, all that kind of. Some of it was curiosity, some of it was genuinely like I really believe that stuff existed. And when I became a Christian, I was at the age of 15. I was like, okay, that's probably not good for me. I'm gonna get that out of my life. And then at the age of like 18, I gotta tell you about this. This story is just. I don't think I've ever shared this on video before, but people who know me, particularly at Halloween, ask about this story. So I was 18 years old. I was in high school. I was graduating. Kind of big man on campus, strong, buff, all that kind of stuff. Don't need anybody to, I don't back down from anything. I say that because I was a confident guy and I was a Christian at the time. So, I mean, it was, everything in life was great. I was going to go to Bible college and everything. In the next year, I would meet my wife and get married, all these things. So everything's good in life. And one night I go to bed and I've had Labrador retrievers all my life. I say that because it's going to play into the story. And I had a waterbed, baby. They were talking about 1992, baby.
Oh my God.
On the waterbed, so anyways, so I had a waterbed and in my room is where I played with the Ouija board all the time. And I'm telling you what, I mean, even pre-Christian, there's stuff that happened with that Ouija board that I can definitely tell you moved on its own. I could definitely 100% tell you it was not me and it was freaky. But I loved that. That was one of the things that was interesting. And so I go to bed one night, and my sisters can validate this. So this is why you know it's true, because your sisters are never going to validate anything to make you look good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and if you ever see my sister on video with me, she just likes to make fun of me, and we usually fight half the time in our store. But it actually brings out a lot of sales, so we keep doing it. So, anyways, I go to bed one night, and I have a Labrador Retriever named Alex, and he sits at the foot of my bed, and he sits up, and the moonlight's coming in. This is around October at the time, and I'm laying down in the bed, and Alex is like at the foot of my bed, sitting straight up, and he always lays down. And he sits up and he just looks at me, and then he looks next to my bed. And then he looks at me and then looks next to my bed. And I'm like, all right, this is freaky. So I turn on my light and nothing's there. And I'm like, okay, this is freaky. All right, I'm freaked out. So I go in my parents' room, and I'm like, I want to sleep in here. I'm 18 years, keep this in mind, 18 years old. I'm big as I am now. And I'm like, I'm sleeping in your room. And my dad's like, okay, boy, this is an issue. So at 18 years old, I sleep on my mom's side of the bed, like on the floor. Okay, I'm scared to death. That was night one. This happened over 4 nights. Night 2, same thing. Get ready to go to bed, and the dog is at the foot of the bed, looking at me, and then looking next to me, looking at me, and then curls like down, and like backs away. And I'm like, oh shit! And I flip on the light, and I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? And I'm freaking out. And then I run into my parents' room. Like this is gonna be awkward, but I slip my underwear. So I'm running. I'm running in my. He's 18 years old, grown man, running in. My parents are like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And I'm like, "There's something in my room. There's a ghost in my room." And they're like, My dad's like, "All right, boy, you're really starting to piss me off." And I'm like, "Listen, Dad, I'm serious." So I sleep on my mom's side of the bed because my dad won't let me. And I'm curled over, like, and I'm 18 years old. I'm as big as I am now. And I'm trying to curl over by my mom because my dad is about ready to punch me in the face. And he's like, no. Night 3. This is amped up crazy. So again, I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, like, something's wrong with me. I'm seeing things, I'm hallucinating. And I at the time I wasn't watching like horror stuff. I wasn't imagining this because people can like imagine this kind of stuff. Yeah. So you can forcibly, your mind can make you hallucinate and things like that. So I believe half the stuff you see on YouTube and stuff like that, it's all hallucination or someone's just tricking stuff. There's some things I think are interesting. But so night 3, I'm sitting there and I'm literally in bed. And I'm like, this is just freaking me out. I got to hold it. And the dog's not looking up or anything like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm good. Bradley, you're just stupid. Just go to sleep. And I'm like self-talking myself to sleep. I feel like a millennial. I need a pacifier. And I'm sitting down and I'm pulling up my sheets and I'm laying down there. And remember, I have a waterbed. And I'm telling you the truth. Something gets on the waterbed on all 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's like standing over me. And I am like, nope. And I throw the covers off, and I don't hit anything, and the covers don't like fall on this figure or anything like that. And I jump out and run in my parents' room, and my dad is just going nuts. You can ask my dad all this. Ask my family all this because the 4th night, my sisters freak out. It gets even crazier. So night number 5 is night number 3, and I'm like in the bed now with my parents, like, I can't go. I'm just freaking out, right? And my parents like, this is really awkward. My 18-year-old son's losing it, which I would think the same thing. Night 4, I'm determined to stay in my room. This is stupid. I think that I'm losing my mind, and this is all just stupid. So I go, yeah. Dogs know. I've seen my dogs. Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, bro. You know what's up. That picture's kind of scary. Anyways, so I'm literally freaking out, but I'm going to sleep, and I'm going to force myself to stay in my bed. I'm like, I don't care what gets in my bed with me. I don't want to disappoint my dad one more night because my dad's going to beat the crap out of me if I go in his room again. So night number 4, the first night I forgot to tell you about something that happened before, but I'll leave that out because it's not really that important to the story. Night number 4, I feel like there's something literally at the end of my bed. And it's not my dog. My dog has moved over and he's sitting right next to me, and he usually sleeps in my bed. So I feel like there's something on my bed. So I'm like, I say to myself, this is stupid. I throw my covers off. I sit up, and I see 2 red eyes staring right back at me, clear as day, dude, clear as freaking day. And I'm like, nope. And I get up and I run downstairs. The first night I ran downstairs because I felt like a truck went through my room, and my sisters were having a slumber party. That's how their friends remember it. So I'm in my underwear, and I'm like, does anyone hear anything? And they're just like, ah, And so, because I was a senior, my sisters were juniors. Yeah. So, and I'm like, it was just terrible. And so it was embarrassing and everything like that. Heard about it at school the next day. It was crazy. And so that night I jump into my parents. Well, I split the difference between my parents, jump in the middle, almost crying my eyes out saying, I'm not moving. There is something in my room. Alex, every time, by the way, my dog would run out of the room when I ran out of the room, and he wouldn't go back in. So that happens. That happens, right? And I am telling you the absolute truth, dude. I think it was demonic. I think it was because I played with the Ouija board. I think it's because I invited that crap into my life. I do believe that greater is he who's in me than he is in the world, which means greater is Christ that's in me. The devil's in the world. I don't believe that he can have power over me or anything like that, but I do believe it can be like the monkey on your back where he torments you, throughout your life, or there's something assigned to you and so on and so forth. To this day, every October, to this day, there's crazy crap that happens in the shop, at my house. At my house, this one particular thing happened twice. Okay, twice. I'm telling you the absolute truth. I know it sounds like I'm nuts. Okay, I believe that I'm partially nuts. But about this kind of stuff, I'm just telling you exactly what happened to me. This one with my son and my wife my wife has seen all this. All my kids have seen all this stuff, by the way. You could ask Savannah, you could ask Camden, you could ask Madeline. But Camden and I were sitting at my dining room table one time, and he was talking about something. And in the Christian realm, by the way, they call this spiritual warfare. If you've ever heard this before, they call this spiritual warfare in the Bible. It's in the book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and 6. It talks very succinctly about spiritual powers, authorities, things like that. It's really interesting. So what's fascinating is my son and I are talking one time. We're talking about this, talking about spiritual warfare, and we're in my dining room table's here, and my kitchen's just right next to it, right? And out of nowhere, the silverware drawer, right? It shoots open. It's like one of the doors that pull out. It shoots open, and Camden freaks out. My dog, I have a 200-pound English Mastiff. She jumps like out of nowhere, and I'm like, what in the world? And I looked at Cam. I was like, that was good, dude. That was good. Solid, dude. He's like, he looks at me like, I didn't do anything. And I'm like, what do you mean you didn't do anything? And he goes, I have my glasses on because it's bright outside. Sorry. And he goes, I didn't do anything. I'm like, Madeline's below. She's underneath the cabinets. I know that Madeline did that. And then it's like it's like a movie. Madeline comes around the corner like, what's going on? I'm like, what? And I go down there, and keep this in mind. This is very important to recognize. I am a rational person. Okay? I'm a rationalized person. I believe that science can explain a whole hell of a lot. I really do believe that. Okay? But if science can't explain this, okay, and you've looked up every other thing in the entire world to figure out why this thing happened, then I do believe it's a spiritual realm. And so I'm going, okay, what happened here? So that happened and nobody was there. I went over there and the area was cold. Like, I keep my house like it's 70, but it had to be like 50 degrees. And I was like, does anyone else feel? And it was like, so it's all the stuff that you hear from different people on this. And it happened twice. It happened twice, dude. It happened twice. And the second time I was like, I knew it wasn't Matt because they were both at the table with me. And Jamie, my wife, she's like, this stuff freaks me out. I want to talk about it. I'm like, right? Yeah. So every October, dude, I'm telling you, like, there's been stuff falling that doesn't need to fall anywhere. There's been knocks, booms, bangs, which sometimes are explainable. You're like, well, that was leaning up here. There's other times you're like, what was that? What? How'd that happen? So it's crazy. And here's my question for you: had you guys ever experienced anything like that before?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So this was before I came up to Bakersfield.
Okay.
But for those people that don't know, my parents used to do foster care for kids. When they decided to move up, they wanted grandkids. Myself, Miguel, and my sister told me, yeah, you need to hold off on that for a while. So they started foster care.
Yeah.
They ended up adopting 6 kids. And the first 3 that they fostered, they ended up adopting. Well, Miguel was probably high school age.
Yeah.
And my family owns a janitorial company, so he would go to work with my dad at night. And apparently more than 1 or 2 nights, they would come home. And my youngest brother at the time, he would be sitting in the living room or on the stairs.
He would be either on the couch just sitting there, or he'd be staring up the stairs, standing there at the stairs. Yeah. And completely quiet. It always took me like 5 to 10 minutes to kind of get him to come to with us. And then you look at him like, oh, well, that's, yeah. And he walk back to his room like no big deal. And that's when I started like, well, can't live here anymore. I got to move out right away because this kid's going to get me.
Was he sleepwalking or something? Or
no, he was not asleep. He was definitely not asleep. Eyes wide open, looking forward, no problem. Just refused to pay attention to us for those moments. And those were some scary nights to come back at like 2 a.m. and you see this 4 or 5-year-olds just staring into nothing.
And kids are freaky.
Yeah,
kids,
it is. You know,
when kids do, you see kids do that, you're like, I'm out. I'm gone. I'm
you know, in my house, you know, my old office, that's where Wyatt, you know, his bedroom is now. And there were some things that happened in the office. And once a cup fell off a shelf that was impossible because the shelf it was a 5-inch tall cup and the shelf had a 3-inch lip and it fell off that shelf. And I actually left the house. Like I got in my car and I just left. And I came back a couple hours later, but that's Wyatt's room now. And Wyatt will have these conversations, or he'll be staring at something, and then he'll just be like looking up and all. And Wyatt has Down syndrome, so Wyatt sees the world in a whole. We always say we'd love to see the world through his eyes because the world is just magic. And when he is just standing there, standing up, and then like, and there's something going on, and it's in that room. And nothing ever happens, you know, as far as I know, you know, but it's some weird stuff. And then there's 3 times in my life I should have died. And so I have a good ghost that follows me. And 2 of the times I won't talk about, but one time was stepped off a curb, not paying attention. And then like punched in the chest to where I fell backwards and fell back. And then just like you see in the movies, a bus goes by. I would have been killed instantly. So, but instead I'm laying on my butt backwards on the ground.
Oh wow!
So,
we call those in Christianity guardian angels. So
I call them they're good ghosts. They're good ghosts.
Good ghosts.
So that follow me around all the time. So so yeah, we all have that.
Yeah, that's a huge thing that when you finally see things like I figure what it is but 89% of people believe in the supernatural, as far as the last survey done in America, and the supernatural, and it's interesting with, and I'm not a Mensa candidate, but I know a little bit and I read some books, with wormholes, dimensions, interdimensional theories and everything else like that. It's really interesting to hear that. And I don't think that's beyond the realm of the spectrums of Christianity and what I believe at all. I believe there could be interdimensional, dimensions. There could be more than just 3 dimensions. And in fact, we believe there is probably, and that other dimension that we can't see, is on a spiritual plane that we haven't ever ascended to because we're still in these physical bodies. And it's really interesting when you think about that, how I always called it, I always told my son to be careful because you don't want to go where angels tread. You don't want to be in that plane. You don't want to be, because in order to, you're dealing with something supernatural. You're dealing with something that doesn't play by the same rules that you and I play with. They're not held by the same, standards or what have you. Now I think that's all under God's reign and rule, but in the same sense of like, there are things that people do. So I say this as somebody who doesn't invite that stuff, just so you understand that. I don't invite that stuff into my life. I'm not looking for it or anything else like that. But when it happens, I call what it is, and I'm like, okay, that's abnormal. That's freaky. It's a little scary, at that point, but it's also a great way of having the conversation. Like, what do you think that was? Why do you think that is? And that kind of thing. So I love that aspect of it, and it's Halloweenish, and everyone's excited about the Halloweens of that. But so, Kev, what are you smoking? Are you smoking anything?
No, I only got up a half hour before the show. I didn't get home till like 1:30 in the morning last night.
Oh yeah.
Event,
so. Are you working right now or what?
No, I've been off work for like 6 weeks because of my shoulder. I'm going through physical therapy 3 days a week.
What happened?
I got T-boned.
Oh, what? Yeah. When did that happen?
About 6 weeks ago. my best friend Brad. Yeah,
it was like a week ago, but he knew about it 5 weeks ago.
I'm a horrible person. I told you I'd tip everybody by the time I leave. What happened?
So, I just driving on my way to work one morning, and some lady in a Mercedes, little SUV, just blew right through a stop sign.
Oh, wow!
Just T-boned me, and so totaled out the vehicle. So, like I said, I've been out of work for I think about 6 weeks now. I don't know if I'll go back this year.
Really?
So we're getting an MRI scheduled finally. So I'm hoping to get that done the next week or two to find out if there's any major damage. And that's the reason why we've been off work, because if there's any damage, we don't want to make it worse.
Right. Right. When she hit you, did she hit you right here on your shoulder? Like, did she hit you driver's side?
Hit driver's side, but it was on the B pillar. So half the driver door and then half the driver rear door.
Still, it's right by your shoulder.
All the airbags came off, and then they're thinking, it's more neck injury that's just affecting the shoulder.
Right.
So like whiplash or something like that. So the MRI hopefully will show nothing, and then it's just soft tissue injury that needs some weights and some lifting. So we'll see. Unfortunately, like I said, and then there was a whole big thing. They totaled my vehicle. My insurance company, when I bought this new one, they didn't transfer my gap insurance from my old one to my new one. So I'm out $4,000. So after all said and done, after all of this is done, I'll be, it wasn't even my fault. I'll probably be out $25,000.
Jeez. No kidding.
Yeah, it probably cost me $25,000.
Well, was she paying that? I don't know if it's a girl.
No. Apparently, insurance doesn't work, and nobody pays anything. I don't even know how this is possible. So I hired an attorney. That's
right.
Yeah, because when I look at my policy, so I have 300,000. Actually, no, I think on one policy it's 300,000, then 500,000, and that's to cover the other person.
Right.
Well, she has that too. But that doesn't take effect anywhere. It's mind-boggling how none of this money ever gets paid out. None of it works. So luckily I have an attorney. He's handling all of that for me.
Good.
Because I don't know. Like even the rental car. I just got a call from them this morning that they're going to pay. And this is the other lady's policy. So I had a rental car for 3 weeks.
Right.
But they're not going to pay the full amount. They're going to pay like $100 less, because once they finally found out the vehicle was totaled, that's when they stopped paying on the rental car, and I kept it for two additional days.
My gosh.
I'm like, wait, what?
So I'll tell you this, Kev. Let me get another cigar, because this is going to go longer than I thought, which is great. And I don't mind that, dude. I don't mind that. I'm smoking the PDR, the Claro, the PDR AFR 75 Claro. I've been wanting to smoke this cigar so bad. I haven't smoked it in a long time. But when I got in a car accident, I T-boned a lady. So a lady pulled out in front of me in a green light I had a straight, and she said she had an arrow. Well, it literally took 2 years to settle, and I was out. I mean, I made sure I got every single receipt, every single thing I ever did. I mean, every meal, everything like that. And she ended up paying me $50,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she towed my vehicle, and her insurance did buy me a new vehicle, which the Denali is the battle wagon I got. That's the new vehicle. But I had a nice Jeep and everything like that. And it's just, it's really frustrating. So I'm sorry you're going through that, bro. I didn't know that was going on.
Yeah, so. It sucks. It's, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. I just want to get back to work. I just want to get back to my lifestyle. Sitting around smoking cigars all day, making videos, that may sound fun.
Yeah.
But it's starting to get old.
Right. Well, you're a doer, dude.
Yeah. That's it. And my creativity has been hampered by all of this because when I'm at work, it's the only time, Brad, you're a mechanic, Brad. So when you're in a project, you're working on a car, that's all you can think about. That's when those little sparks come up. When I'm having a problem, I'm having a problem now manufacturing a new item, and I'm concentrating it on it so much. It's been over a month. I can't figure it out. I need to be at work because that's when those solutions happen. I'll be working on something. I'll be concentrating real hard on trying to diagnose this problem. And then in the background, my brain is doing all these calculations, and then it'll just be instant. And I'll be like, that's it. And then I'll write something down or I'll send a video to my machinist. And I'm like, here's how we fix it. And that's what sucks. So all that creativity is it's just kind of gone.
It's hampered. It's hampered by the pain. It's hampered by the thing. And people don't recognize that there's a reality to where, there's pain and suffering. There's a sense of what the suffering aspect is that can affect relationships. That can affect your business. That can affect your future. What you're doing. I literally can do that with my shoulder now. But here at work, I literally my second week here, I banged my shoulder on something and popped it out of socket and had to pop it back inside. I literally hit the wall and just, popped it back in socket. But ever since then, it's been different, and so when I lift, I can't, like, if you ever see me on a video, like I lift my cigar like that, but over here I can just do this.
Yeah.
I can't do this with this shoulder. I can't do that. I struggle. That hurts really bad just to do that. So it's a different way. And when I drink like this with the shoulder.
Oh, if you want any of my videos or my interviews, I've had to switch my cup from the right side to my left side because I can't reach out with my right side and drink. So, luckily I'm pretty ambidextrous. So yeah, it's little things like that have become just an annoyance.
Right.
Is what it's more just annoying than anything else. It's like one more thing that I have to change about my life because of someone's ignorance. Right.
Well, I'm sorry, dude. I did not know that. I didn't know that at all. So I know how to pray for you. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And then definitely, man, you'll be in my thoughts. That's really hard. Particularly from your shoulder and stuff like that. So, I guess one question I think I'd ask everybody, what's something that's coming out now as far as cigars are concerned, or cigar accessories or anything like that you're excited about for the holidays?
Ooh, that's a good one. I just saw a couple of the pictures for the Mr. White Gold boxes, not just the pre-release anymore. They have the artwork out and stuff, and it's looking good. I love the Mr. White Gold, and when the pre-release were still out, I grabbed as many as I could, but those went real fast. I know they're not fully released yet, so I'm a little sad, but hopefully I can get my hands on some of those. Definitely excited about that. I'm excited about our own. I know I got little boop. Got my Rush going on. I love those. But if I keep smoking them all, then I can't sell them. So it makes it a very difficult situation where I'm smoking way too much. I got to slow down. But I'm probably not gonna.
No, not on, especially not on a Friday. On a Friday, you go even further. Yeah,
that's the problem. That's the problem.
I know. What about you, dude?
I think for me, actually, the thing I'm really excited about for us is November 20th. We're doing Stogie Fest. It's the biggest event that we do every year, and fortunately, we'll be able to do it this year. But it'll be our first event where we're selling our own cigars. So for me, that's a big one for us.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's really cool. What about you, Kev?
Everything, all these new cigars that are coming out for the rest of the year, I've already smoked. So we get so many cool new cigars that we're not allowed to tell people about and smoke. Right. And I know when Steve from Saka sent us the pre-release U-boats a couple of months ago, and Jessica's like, are we allowed to review these? And I'm like, he put a band on them. I'm reviewing it. He never said a word, but yeah, we reviewed it like 3 months ahead of the release. And
that's
so
awesome.
we smoke so much stuff. I'm really not excited about too much. I'm excited about some events. Getting back to events. It was great. I went to one last night with Eric Espinoza.
Yeah.
That was cool. I got to chat with him about blending a cigar, because I had one up his alley. I needed to talk with him, and he's pretty intrigued about it. He's intrigued. So super cool. We got another event coming up next month. I'll be hanging out with Pete Johnson, doing steaks and cigars. So yeah, and then he's got his new the Shrunken Pumpkin coming out.
Yeah.
So I guess that's I'll be interested to see what that's all about.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Brad? What are you excited for?
Well, if it ever comes out, the Rhapsody, I actually have 3 of them sitting here in my humidor still. I smoked it, and the first time I smoked it, imagine, I don't know if you had the King's Comeback by us. The King's Comeback with more Lajero.
Okay.
So a little spicier. It's got some spicy kick to it. So, but it comes in a Connecticut, a Habano, and a Rosado, or a Habano and a Maduro. And did you see the artwork? Can you put the artwork up there, Miguel?
Can I put it up? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
put it up. This is what the Rhapsody looks like if you can put it up.
Give it a little share right here.
I don't know if you can do it. There we go. That's what the Rhapsody will look like. And the Rhapsody, so the Maduro will have a dark hair. The Connecticut will have a blonde guy, and then that's the red hair one for the Habano. If you would. So, and each tie will be different colors too. It will be yellow and black, so they can tell the difference. That's our Rhapsody. I'm looking forward to it. I worked hard at trying to find that stupid freaking picture. So I don't design pictures. I just edit them. So when I find them, I'm usually finding them on, whatever freaking, thing I'm doing. So people are like, "You do a great job of your pictures." I'm like, I don't design any of them. I edit them. I grab them and I just play with them or anything like that. So, but anyways, it's I'm excited about that coming out. When it freaking drops, it'll freaking drop. I don't know when it's going to drop. I try to get it done by October. I just don't know when it's going to come. But I am really excited because the person that makes it for us is well known. Everything. I can't divulge that, but I'm very excited about it. It's a very good stick. It's probably the best. It's the best house blend outside the. I keep forgetting about this. The what is it? The Whiskey Sunset. Have you had that, Kevin?
No, I haven't even heard of that one.
Oh, I need to send it to you. Oh, dude, I'll send you guys some Whiskey Sunsets. It's really good. It's like it's a Cameroon. It's a Cameroon. So it's a Cameroon. So imagine the spice cream binder and filler with a Cameroon. So
I'll be interested. There's a couple of manufacturers on like really small scale, like a half acre of land. So you know how small that is in the world of tobacco, that are trying Cameroon, growing Cameroon in Nicaragua. And they say it can't be done.
Wow. Yeah, I know.
But at one time, the Connecticut River Valley was the only place you could get, Connecticut. I mean, I know Ecuador, Connecticut's not really the same,
right.
but they got that seed to grow,
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple people trying to grow some Nicaraguan Cameroon.
With hydroponics, I'm pretty sure you can probably grow something anywhere. We probably need to thank the weed industry on that because they were the ones that, plowed the way with that. But the African Cameroon is what put the Cameroon on the brink. So the Cameroon in Africa is what all those leaves, and they're just super hard to roll with. They're super brittle. They're super. If you don't keep them unified perfectly, they absolutely. This is why our back humidor. I'm like religious about it. I'm 70/70. I'm looking at it 4 or 5 times a day. Hey, is it okay? Is it okay? Is it okay? Because that's where all our Cameroons are. And if you have a Cameroon, or if you have a dry humidor, or you try to even, I never tell guys to dry box. Never dry box a Cameroon because it'll crack on you and you'll be miserable. Like my favorite Cameroon outside ours is the Nub Cameroon.
Oh yeah,
I love that. Very nice. Yeah.
That's what I was going for when I told our blender. I said I want it to taste just like the Nub, and I think it tastes better, to be honest with you. But there's a sense of where he was just like, just so you know, this is really, really difficult. I pay a lot more for that cigar than any house blend I've ever paid for. I mean, it's expensive for me. It's expensive. Like I debated even bringing it in for a long time. I was like, that's expensive. So it's $7.50, $7, something like that, which is expensive for a house blend. Now I know there's some guys that charge $9 to $10 for their house blend, which I can't believe they do.
Hey, we have taxes out here. All right, leave us alone.
No, not you. I'm referring to somebody up the street from me. Anyways, but put a band on a shit stick, it's still a shit stick. Anyways, but the fact of the matter is that the Cameroon is just really hard. It's really difficult, to use. It really is. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how that comes out and how it's received by the public, and if we can do a Rhapsody in a Cameroon too, because a Cameroon with a really good punch hasn't been developed yet, because they're usually on the sweeter, the more mild side. And if you get a Cameroon with a nice punch to it, that could be something unique, in the market. And everyone's always trying to hit that unique time. Like that's really unique. And I felt like when I got the Kintsugi, I felt like that was unique. I feel like
it was,
that's a unique cigar. It's not something that I've smoked before. The El Criito, whatever it is by PDR, I thought that was unique. I haven't tasted one like that outside of Cuba necessarily. And there's certain ones I've thought that are very unique. That I smoked. I guess a good question. What's one of the most unique cigars you've smoked in recent history?
Oh man, I would agree with you on that El Criito. It's just I buy it all the time, and then some guys look down on it because the price point's so low. It can't be like it is that good. It really is. They should charge more for it. I'm glad they don't.
Right.
This way I can keep buying packs of them. Just as soon as they come in the shop, they are no longer in the shop. They are in my hands. I take them every time. I don't want to share. I'm not going to share that. Yeah, that's just from Miguel. But, it's a phenomenal cigar. And when you talk about, I was thinking the exact same thing. It is a real treasure trove right there. A real diamond in the rough. If you're not looking at it, you're just going to overlook it. You got to give it that chance. It's a really good cigar.
And it's plain Jane. Packaging on it's real plain Jane. Yeah, nothing pops about the packaging. Yeah, nothing at all. Yeah, nothing at all on the packaging. What about you, Frankie?
I'm not normally a Perdomo smoker. For whatever reason, they just don't really sell it here in California all that well. But I tasted the new anniversary, the Maduro, and I was blown away. I really dug it, and I've smoked quite a few since we got them in the shop. So for me, that one kind of reopened me up to Perdomo.
Yeah, that was a cold brew coffee for me. I tasted it and I was like, it's cold brew coffee for me, right there. So that's what I got out of it. But yeah, it's a good stick. I'm really glad they did it too. What about you, Kev?
Probably the most exciting and the new JC Newman Yagua. That was probably the most exciting, cool new cigar. The wrapped in the leaves. Each cigar was a different shape. A square, an octagon, a triangle. That was kind of cool. The whole history behind it, the packaging. That was probably the hottest one this year. I think the most anticipated release. And that's
not JC Newman-esque. They never do things like that.
Well, that's Drew Newman. That's Drew taking over. Just say hey, and that's what I love about Drew, because he's so young, but he's asking these stories like, hey, I heard a story that we used to do something this way. Why don't we do that anymore? Well, it's because we do it this way now. Well, yeah, but why can't we do it? Well, because we do it this way. And he asks those questions. He pushes. The whole factory renovation was his idea. Let's tear down these walls. Why is there drywall up? There's beautiful brick behind here, and he's had an amazing influence on that company.
And you said that Drew is young.
Drew's what? Our age?
Is he?
Yeah, Drew. Yeah, Drew's the youngest. I think he's younger than us.
Is he? Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, I want to say Drew's got to be 38 to 40.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's young. Yeah, that's young.
Yeah.
We're gonna say I like that.
It's young to get to be given $20 million to renovate a factory and do what you want, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's funny, dude. That's funny.
Oh,
but I'm excited about that. Well, how long does this thing last? I'm not trying to get off here. I'm just saying.
I was about to say we usually go for about 30 minutes in the morning.
I
think we're almost at 90.
I just looked up at that time. I go, oh, Brad comes on. Brad comes on. He can just spend
Whoops.
all the time. You
Whoops.
know?
What do you call it?
Whoops. Edit
Yeah.
out all the offensive things. I apologize.
Yeah, they're actually getting ready to start their afternoon show in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, we're just gonna let it run right into it.
I know.
But yeah, I guess we'll wrap it up. You guys, we usually do go half an hour, but we're almost at an hour and a half, so that's awesome. Thank you guys for sticking with us.
Dude.
We did get a question earlier in the comments, but we were having such a great conversation. I didn't want to cut it. Where can people find your cigars, Brad?
Yes.
Zealcigars.com, ZEAL cigars.com. Yeah. And you can also find, me always kissing Kevin's butt at Zeal Cigars review on YouTube. So I'm trying to give you shout outs all the time, dude. I
appreciate it. I need one big one. I'm trying to hit 5,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I need you to make a plea. I need you to make a plea for me, Brad.
I will make a plea, and we will do it on our. So when I'm on there, it's on Sunday.
Yeah.
We're on there on Sunday. I will say if you subscribe, I'm going to give Kevin a secret code to get 20% off your cigars, something like that. So the subscription will be equal worth. And you have to ask Kevin for the code. So you got to subscribe and say, Kevin, give me the code. Kind of thing. So we'll make it happen for you, though. But cool. I'm going to get back to work there. But hey, thank you guys so much for having me on. I really do appreciate that.
Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you Sunday,
you.
Brad.
Yeah, see you, boys.
So Kevin, before you take off though, where can they find your stuff?
Yeah.
Cigar Prop everywhere. Cigarprop.com. Cigar Prop on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. Pinterest, you name it. It's Cigar Prop.
Nice.
Not Cigar Pimp. Cigar Prop.
Yeah.
Not Cigar Pimp.
Not Cigar Pimp.
I like that hat though. I do like it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Y'all take care. We will see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. for final third of the week. I'll be back tomorrow or on Monday, to get Great American Morning going. Probably not an hour and a half, probably again 30 minutes on Monday. But depending on what Brad has to do with it, I'm just kidding with you. But you guys have a good one. Thank you guys for being on this morning. I hope to have you both on again real soon.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's an honor.
And,
so see you guys.
Alex, Stogie Fest is happening November 20th.
Yes,
over to make it out
over at Casa Tequila in the back patio. It's big, it's open. It's a great spot. I hope you all will come out and have a good time with us. Yeah. All right, guys. Now we are out of here. We'll see you next time.
See
Kevin,
you guys.
Thank you for hopping on with us, brother.
Oh, you're welcome. See ya.
All right, guys. Have a good one.